Alright, we're good. So, let me pull it up real quick. I made my mistake of keeping like 7 tabs open. Alright. Welcome back. Welcome back, Shadow Guardians. It has been about 2 weeks since our last session, but for those that are watching, it probably will not be that long. In the last part, I believe, you all had been... It had been about a month and some change, roughly, since you had all been brought to the testing area and kind of training area for your new team that now is called the Shadow Guardians, as you all wanted to... Well, it was agreed upon, I won't say you all did, but it was agreed upon that you would all have this name as your team's kind of like call sign. Through that month, everyone kind of, generally speaking, bonded with certain people over others, got to know their machines and their different weapons and equipment a bit more closely, and got to learn a little bit more about the guild union and some of their members a little bit of their team. However, it has been, after that month, the party received a special, or not special, oh, there's that thunder. Received a not a warning. Oh my god, my brain concentrate. They received a. I guess it was. We'll just say it was warning. A warning about a pending attack that was currently going on in the southern area of Memorem. Not too far from where they were, so that was why they were notified by a condition, I believe, of yellow. As this happened, everyone was woken up from their slumber and brought to meet at the operations center in the vessel they had, or the facility they had been, and they could quickly be mobilized under the guise, or not guys, under the operation. Basically, making sure that the civilians were specifically the civilians were taken care of and were aided, and that the attacking force was pushed away. And once that was to happen, their main priority was to ensure that civilian losses were kept at a minimum and to try and get information about the attackers. Once they left, I believe pretty much everyone in the team was mobilized. They split up into different groups, some people being sent to the actual town itself within where it was attacked, to try to help around and see what they could do for the survivors and for the civilians. The others, the team that we'll be cutting into right in here in a moment, was tasked with dealing with the main threat that was attacking the town, and then upon that threat being neutralized or suppressed, to then return and immediately aid the civilians and such with the other team. The combat began with the group flying overhead, upon you trying and not exactly succeeding in trying to convince the attackers to stand down and surrender or flee, which began the fight. I believe Casket and oh my god, is it Seiyun? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get used to these names.
That is correct.
Yes, Casket and Seiyun had the wonderful idea, taking two specifically the heavier units, the vigilance units, out and basically crashing them into the armored knights they had saw on the battlefield. Taking out 2 of them pretty quickly after that, while the others decided to separate along the line or along the pathway that the vessel they were in, which I believe your vessel now has a name, right? It is the, yes, the Stratosphere, yes. But yes, after leaping out of the stratosphere, everyone kind of landed in different spots for the most part, though in a kind of centralized area towards the middle of the combat. But from this, the fight would be a kind of one-sided after the first couple of rounds, as while Seiyun took a decent amount of damage, everybody else was pretty quickly subduing their assailants and targets. Pushing the group of assailants to kind of, we'll say, introspect on their chances of winning this fight. More so when they realized that there was well, there was potential that there could be more on the horizon soon against them. So, Titus, in a little quick effort to try to stop the fighting, not necessarily for the sake of the people attacking, but more for the sake of the general mission plan and getting people safe, elected to kind of parlay with the enemy here and try to see if they could get them to leave. Well, while that did seemingly succeed, Titus had stopped I don't believe you got the name of them, but the main kind of captain leading the group here, and had basically said, hey, give us information about who you work for and what you're doing here, basically. Unfortunately, Titus was not convincing enough, despite the very present threat they were in, and the deck stacked against them here, and they elected to just kind of shrug it off and just keep leaving. Casket and Avery, however, were not willing to let the group of mercenaries, it seems, go. I believe Apani had identified them as possibly members of a mercenary group called the Dust Devils, that I'm sure will come up very soon. But Casket and Avery, or I should say Crow, were very, very much not wanting them to leave, and feeling like they had overstepped a little bit by just randomly attacking civilians here, at least from their perspective, of course, from nothing but money. And with that, they both attacked the fleeing individuals, as Titus basically warned that if they did not give information that they would consider attacking. Crow and Casket, basically from that moment of they started leaving again, immediately attacked. This led to a little bit more of a longer fight past the initial point, as the group had to kind of try to scramble and get out of the situation as the Shadow Guardians began to, well, start taking them out at this point. I believe it started with one of the armored knights that were fleeing just getting immediately annihilated by Seiyun and Casket. So they elected to use some smoke bombs that they had in their person and began to throw them on the ground and basically make it so that the group would have trouble, or that the team would have trouble seeing them. And they proceeded to flee into the forest deeper into where the burned areas were. Though the stratosphere did kind of follow them a little bit, it wasn't able to keep a clear image of them once they hit the main thicket of the forest. So they elected to turn around, especially since they were kind of having a little bit of an argument on the ship, it seemed. And Apani, you were actually privy to hearing a lot of this. I rolled to see if you would. But there was an argument on the vessel, considering that Avery basically fired... he fired, like, we'll say, rounds at the group. Not your group, of course, the Dust Devil group. But it had gotten a little bit close to the civilians, or more specifically the town. Some of the splash damage was very, very close, and you can hit some of the wall as they kind of blew up part of the area they were in. Though I believe it was just Avery. I don't believe Casket got that close to hitting the town. But still, we'll get to it, but there might be some interesting conversations today about actions being made. But regardless, they did manage to escape, and the party is now left dealing with the aftermath of that little situation and the fact that there are still people in need of aid in the town at the moment. So beginning that, I will ask some things. So, you can hear Kaya's voice kind of on the comms now, and she is very quickly kind of getting a handle on the situation and is saying, "Alright, we'll talk about what happened in a moment and later, but we need to focus on getting the civilians, our main objective." And you can see she's like, it looks like she's probably flipping through something, and she's listening to another person. "Alright, Bruce says he needs assistance in the town, along with some of the others." Gwendolyn, you're also with Brooke, I should say. You're in the town helping civilians right now. So I'm going to ask everybody in the party, there are a couple things you can help with doing, to help, like, the situation. You may decide what you would like to do. Oh, there comes that rain. I don't know if you can hear it.
Not yet.
Interesting. I guess my thing is pretty good at canceling sound, excess sound out. So, your options are medical aid, helping clear debris, relaying information, basically relaying it to the people on the ground and such like that, monitoring the area, making sure that nobody gets, no more hostiles come around the area to kind of like attack, and then also searching for survivors or potential dangers.
Can a pony do medical aid?
Yes, you can. By the way, multiple of you can do the same thing. There's no like limits and like, no, it's not just like one person per thing. So.
Okay.
So Opani is doing medical aid. I will need a medicinal check from you, Opani.
Okay.
Casket. What about you?
What exactly were the options again?
Medical aid, clearing debris, relaying information around, monitoring the area, and searching for survivors.
Search for survivors.
All right. I am going to need either a surveillance or a inspection check from you. If you have the surveillance skills and advanced skill, you can use it. If you don't, then just inspection.
This is a pony here, but I rolled 11 for the medical check.
Okay. I'll get back to you in a moment. Gwendolyn. Ram.
Oh, you died again.
Sayan, we'll go with you first, since Gwendolyn is not present.
I would like to relay information.
Alright. For you relaying information, I would like you to make me a knowledge local regal.
Oh shit.
Someone else might want to search for some. I think
Oh, they did not. What did you not roll well?
I rolled a natural one.
Oh,
You can't even find yourself.
I got lost. I just got lost.
he went off into the forest. He's like, I'm gonna chase him down.
I need to be saved. I need to be found at this point.
Oh, Casket needs an adult.
I got an 11 on relaying information.
Alright.
What is it to find the survivors in that?
Inspection or surveillance. If you have surveillance, you can use it. If you don't, just inspection. Why does that rain sound so heavy?
Couldn't tell you.
All I could think is Sean.
Oh my god,
Sean.
that
Jason.
No, Gwendolyn, not bad. Not bad at all. Let me roll some stuff. I know they're pluses.
I think you found me there.
lag you from the most.
Is it? Looks fine to me.
Let me
What's
pull
that?
it up on Explorer. Maybe that's why. I'm not totally different.
Alright, well... That's unfortunate for them, but... That's cool. I'll have... Yeah. Yeah, I was just trying to see who would do what. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, well, that's okay. Unfortunately, Daco, who is it? Gwendolyn was doing some stuff with you, right? You guys were searching for survivors, right? Okay. So you guys are good. You even though Casket, you have to kind of help Gwendolyn as Casket arrives into the town. You're told that Casket's coming to help you look for survivors. You can see Casket has no idea what he's doing. He is like, he's looking in like broken windows. and he's looking like down long like stretches of road and such, but he's not really like, he's just kind of like standing there and aimlessly wandering. He's not really, standing there or aimlessly wandering. He's not really looking as in-depth as he should be for people like under rubble and stuff like that. So you're kind of having to help direct him so that you can like if like, oh, you see someone like under something, a casket just walks by, you have to like direct him back to make him hold up something so you can help someone get out of some rubble, and stuff like that. But even with that, you do manage to successfully rescue about 20 or so people that were they're like kind of trapped in some debris that was probably from one of the artillery and such. Decent chunk of people. Seiyun, you were monitoring. What were you doing again? I'm sorry. Just.
Relay information.
Yes, relay information. So, unfortunately, you and Avery are the ones kind of doing that at first, and it is not going well. Avery seems to be very annoyed. He's kind of getting frustrated easily. You're doing it significantly better than Avery is, like keeping it together and like helping. But like, it's so you're getting information from Memorem people that are like, hey, you know, we need help here. You're like, okay, we need to send a group over here to help them with debris or help them with medical assistance and stuff like that. And it's kind of just getting a bit, you know, it's getting a bit overwhelming. You're not really practiced doing this type of thing, you know? So you're just kind of like going off of a whim. When someone says they need help, you're just kind of being like, okay, send someone to help them over here, but then there's not enough help in this place, and you have to figure out like, maybe I need to send someone else over here. Like there's movement, but it's not as sufficient as you think it needs to be, is what I would say.
It's kind of like that Mr. Krabs meme where he's just looking around.
Right.
Wait, can I like, I don't know, give a glimpse of how Sane would kind of like start saying that?
Yeah, fair enough. I'll go ahead.
Alright. Dan's is gonna be looking around like, okay, I need help over here, and he's gonna need a stretcher over here, and we're gonna need a crane to get that up, and hold on, wait a minute, that's not my job. Fuck! We need and then he's you can see his like, you can see there's steam coming off his ears, so to speak.
Yeah, and I would just say like Avery is not very helpful. Avery is very obviously distracted. He's just you don't think that he couldn't do a good job of this. He's just not doing as good a job as needs to be for the situation. You think he's probably distracted from probably still thinking about like the battle and stuff. Again, he's very notably like agitated, but at the same time he seems like kind of sorrowful or solemn, kind of looking around. Maybe like the situation's just getting to him. He's like it's like a little bit much, but yeah, it's just things could be going better. It's not the worst. Again, it's not as bad as it could be, but you definitely think things could be going a bit better, at least for this time being. Apane, things at first are going. Did you have any pluses to your medical?
No.
Okay, just making sure before I say it. So, initially, Apane, things are not going the best. When you get to like some of the medical areas they've kind of set up, there's not a lot. There's only like 3 around the town currently. It seems like most of the attacks are kind of centered in certain areas, so they haven't needed to open up like medical centers everywhere in this town. But there's a lot of like people kind of being rushed in from certain areas to these places. So you're getting an influx of people pretty much every hour that you're working. It's a bit overwhelming. You've done medical, I imagine, stuff maybe before, though it's not really your expertise. You're the robot doctor, not really the people doctor, you know? But
Yeah.
it isn't going the worst, especially as you can see that oh my god, I forgot her name. I can't believe I forgot her name. What is it? Especially when you see Kaya and Fari actually come and help you. They start to basically immediately start administering aid around the area. You can see that Fari has like these little shards that kind of float off her back. these kind of like drone things, and they kind of slowly float around different people, and you can see this blue light kind of flashes and scans them. And then Fari, she kind of looks at something on her wrist, like this kind of this little like wristband, almost like projection. And she's like reading something off of it, and she'll say like, "Okay, I'm going to need this amount of alchemical material here. I'm going to need these bombs. Can you give me those things?" And she like starts directing that. Kaya, you can see most of her expertise you've seen is only in engineering. She seems to actually be pretty decent at medical as well. She is making like makeshift splints and stuff for people that have like broken legs and stuff like that, or broken bones in other places. You can see that she's kind of somebody has some type of head injury, you can see, and she kind of gently puts a hand on their shoulder and one on their head. You can see she whispers something, and you can see this kind of golden light begin to slowly stretch across the wound and seal the injury a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from their initial look, it would not be as expected that they would be this decent at medical, but they're very efficient at getting people cured and such like that, and the help very quickly makes an overwhelming situation just go by easily. So you are fine. The last person, I don't know Titus's pluses. I will look it up real quick. But I believe Titus. Okay, it's not working. Unless he has a +4, it's probably not. He'll probably be fine. Titus stays on watch. He basically gets back into the stratosphere, and is getting flown around by what's her name? Not Lish. Is it Lyshishka? Wait, no. Is it? What's her name? Latricia. I'm sorry. Thank you. He's getting flown around by Latricia. They seem to be kind of surveying the perimeter of the town, making sure that there's no like no like sightings of any more like armored knights or any more dust devils in the area. And after about 4-ish hours, the situation, it's getting to be about like early mid-evening, like around 3 or so, or 3 to 4. It's beginning to calm down a little bit more, in most areas. And yes, you can hear as like kind of starts to die down a little bit and simmer down. You are contacted by Kaya. All of you, I should say, are contacted by Kaya through your transceivers.
You're still thinking of just branches, analyzing them if they are survivors.
You think that some of these branches are unfortunately not long for this world. You don't think they're gonna make it. But yes, you hear Kaya's voice as she says, "Alright, I believe that things have calmed down a little bit. Alright, we need to talk. Team meeting. Meet at the stratosphere. Latricia, bring it nearby the north wall." What's that? She kind of looks. You can hear her like talking to someone else for a moment, like there's a bit of murmuring. Oh, Ishin's here? Alright, I'll relay it to them. Tell them, yes, he can meet us there. Alright, thank you. We'll have another guest as well soon, but we need to have this meeting first. Once you everything is all settled in your areas, please meet them. And then the line goes off. Or line goes off.
Are there a lot of branches around? Because I gotta check them.
There's a decent amount, but a lot of branches kind of look crushed or torn to sunder and such. It's not as yeah. A lot of, looks like you're near a tree that probably got hit with a shell. So it's just kind of bits of bark and a couple of bits of burnt foliage on the ground.
A whole ass family tree got destroyed.
Yep. An artillery shell will do that.
Fortunate. Well, I guess I'll head off.
Gwendolyn, as you see kind of Casket heading off, you think that whatever he was doing before is finished. He is now heading away. Are you going to head off now, or? Oh, I don't know. Gwendolyn is here again. Give Gwendolyn a minute. I assume Apani, are you going to head to the meeting point? Okay. Yeah. I guess. Oh yeah. Also, Fari and Kaya are with you, and they both are gonna just start heading there now that the situation's taken care of. And yes, Apani, I should clarify for you because you were aware of this. There was a little bit of an argument in the ship. So when you were during the fight, during the whole fiasco where the stuff happened, and we'll get into that in a moment. Basically, Avery, when he shot, I mentioned earlier when he shot he fired the rounds towards the assailants. A lot of that hit the wall of the town. Now, it doesn't seem like it damaged many places inside the town, if any. But it was more that it was too close of a shot with explosives that they basically weren't going to do that. That wasn't what they specifically. Kaya said, "Do not fire those weapons. You're too close. That's too close to the town." And Avery, along with Casket, when they fired, they just kind of went guns blazing. So this started an argument in the vessel because of the fact that Avery kind of disobeyed orders effectively. Moreover, he disobeyed orders that could have resulted in civilians being harmed, because he took a shot that was very, very close to the civilian area. And he seemed to have gotten chewed out a little bit from that by Kaya, but the situation, you're not sure where it went after the fight, because the line kind of got fixed after that, or the line kind of went silent. Until obviously they started talking with you again after the fight happened.
Okay.
But yes, outside of that, that is what you know. We'll make the assumption that Gwendolyn will head off with Casket, or shortly after Casket, to the meet. So, it doesn't take too long for everybody, maybe about 20-ish minutes, give or take, for everybody to kind of congregate and get to the area. You can see Titus is sitting, the vessel is kind of parked on a little bit of some flat area near where a hole in the wall got blown out of. Still open area, there's not rubble or something on the ground. Titus is just kind of playing with some stone debris. And looks over and sees you all, kind of nods. You can see Latricia is sitting down on a rock, playing around with some type of device, but when she sees everyone approach, she kind of quickly puts it away and sits straight up, attentive. But yes, Kaya kind of looks over at everybody, and she will... Alright, I guess it's not really sugarcoating this in any way. I'm disappointed, slightly.
Hey.
Oh, go ahead, Casket. Were you gonna say something? Yeah, looks over.
No, just something in my head. Just damn.
Disappointment. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Exactly.
Well, that's worse.
Be angry. Be upset. I would rather. Please.
He kind of looks over. Avery. He kind of says, "Do we have to retread this again?" He kind of rolls his eyes. She's like, "Yes, we do. You and Casket were out of line." He kind of he kind of grumbles but doesn't say anything. He's looks over. Our team is here to help people in Lapsus. Whether they be from a Memorem Noblesse, it doesn't matter. People. I understand I understand what we were dealing with here. These mercenaries, do not think that my condemnation here is because of the character of these people being somehow a reason for us to not have done anything. I have no personal qualms about any of them dying. But the civilians here were our main objective. We were supposed to go and keep them safe and make sure they were aided once the once the aggressors had been suppressed and moved out of the area. If they were willing to retreat, we should have taken that opportunity to immediately go back and help civilians. Kind of looks around, like, at everyone, kind of.
Casket kind of steps forward, and I realized what I did was irrational, which is weird for me, but I
don't doubt that your heart was in the right place. Just...
I apologize. I will not let this happen again.
She kind of thinks, I don't want to necessarily... Bari kind of steps up, she says, Akaya is just making sure that all of you are aware of the stakes here. You saw the devastation in the town, firsthand. While most of it has been dealt with in a calm and reasonable demeanor, that doesn't mean that it couldn't have gotten better if we had acted sooner. She's saying it in a nicer way, but remember what our job is.
Yes, I firsthand experienced a family tree being destroyed by a single shell.
Yes, war causes many devastations to places. Kind of looks down when she says that a little bit. I have a recognition, but Fire kind of sits back up. Nevertheless, you all did a wonderful job of at least suppressing the targets in the area and getting them away from the town. Issues aside, Kaya says, and I'm happy that all of you are alright as well. Though it sounds like we might need to review some more things with the manuals a bit. She kind of looks at Sayun when she says that.
What did I do?
Every crow kind of looks over. He's like, "Well, for one, you didn't cut on your armor."
Well, for two, actually, I got no two. I do be a little confused behind the wheel, even though there's no wheel.
Mistakes in the heat of passion.
Oh no!
Mistakes in the heat of passion.
You have no idea how bad that quote is, considering some stuff in another campaign. Is all I can say. I will not comment on it right now. But anyways, Avery kind of like, there's like a slight smirk, and then like Kaya kind of gives him a look and just kind of quickly, he just kind of quickly whistles and looks away. Kaya says, well, regardless, that's something that we can review for later. So, what do we have to report?
Oh, by the way, did y'all manage to catch someone? This is out of character, after I left.
No, they would, I guess, if this is a question Casket asking, or just you asking in general?
No, I'm asking.
Oh, no, they weren't able to capture anybody, no. So, you did, the ones you attacked, like the main armor knight and stuff like that got destroyed, but most of the stragglers, like the people, they got out. They used that smoke screen to get out.
Oh, right, the thing I was supposed to say.
Right.
Casket also speaks up. I would suggest integrating heat detection in the mechs.
Farah kind of looks over. Thermal sensors. Yes, Everglow has that technology. We can probably put in an order for it. However, it's going to take some time. Something we probably won't have immediately here. We'll have to make do without it for now. kind of shakes her head, or she kind of scratches her ear for a second. No, there might be some other things we can do. I'll consider something. But yes, outside of that, how did the situation go on the ground? We only saw parts of it. And I guess the aftermath.
Well, who wants to sum up the
I can give you the abridged, the same abridged version of it, I guess.
Sure. Kaya kind of nods. Go ahead.
Alright. So, like, he's gonna be like, okay, so here's what happened. So we basically saw everybody was down there doing bad stuff, you know. They were out there with, like, there was this, like, pillaging in the village. And, you know, we weren't having that. So me and Kat, being the genius I am, without being a genius, I land on one of these fuckers with my mech, and I'm like, man, this is 1,000 IQ, Seiyun. Keep this up. And then another person dropped on another mech, and it was amazing. And you know, I didn't know the full capabilities of my mech because I'm just a simple country boy. and then, you know, I get to women and whamming and wailing, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm doing amazing. And then they start women and whamming and wailing on me. I'm like, oh, that's not amazing. And then we start whittling them down, and we try to talk them down.
Hey,
Look, things did not happen. Things did not happen.
I like the pause of yeah.
It's like Seiyun when he says, we try to talk them down. He looks at the Pawnee, and everybody else is like, it did not happen the way we thought it would.
A Pawnee just like staring in the background.
He's like, and then, you know, a couple of war crimes later, we realized, damn, this is a little messed up. And then, yeah, we try to go save the peoples from the, aftermath of whatever happened. Well, I say whatever as if I wasn't here. What part did I forget?
The part where I promptly dodged multiple bullets.
Yes. This guy, my robo buddy here, he's Casket. He's amazing. I feel like he's get a promotion.
Fist bump.
Brew kind of.
That's his version of events.
You can see Brew kind of massages his goatee a little bit, and he's like, "So, who are these guys? Didn't seem like random raiders to be armed like this."
They had to be paid.
They did say they were being hired by someone.
Alright, just saying.
Yes. And they also were, they were probably this. But would I know, would I recognize? I would probably not recognize the dust.
Yeah. Someone did, though.
A Pawnee relays the information
About the Dust Devils?
about the dust devils and everything.
As Apani kind of starts speaking about it, Kaya kind of nods. Right. I think Latricia kind of sits up. Right, I did do some digging about them. Yes, looks over at you, Apani. Good call on that. Good sight on that, by the way.
Thank you.
So, from what I could gather, at least, she kind of pulls up, and she'll show you all what she's looking at, but she's like shows you like a projection of some basically some parchment. What I could dig up, the Dust Devils, they're they're a mercenary group, I believe. Yes, she'll. Why are you not looking? Oh, I see why. I was on the wrong tab. They're a group of. Well, I should say this. They're a former group of raiders who survived the pirate crackdowns in Lapsus. Several years ago, there was we'll say a little event for a couple years. The guild got involved later, but in the beginning, the Consortium wanted to crack down on piracy and such. They were looking for a win after the, well, we'll just say the recent failures in the war. Kind of gives like a slight little wink. Though there was some murkiness with how they were doing things, so the guild got involved pretty quickly after about a year or two of them involving themselves in this. The Dust Devils were one of these raiding groups, though I guess they turned to more slightly above-board actions and activities. They became a mercenary group for hire, working with various factions in the region and foundries. Seems like they got a special status for protections in the Lapsian government to a certain extent, at least before the new council. Seems like some of those have been revoked, but not in every place. Seems like in Delra they still have some protections. She kind of shows here, look, and you can see there's certain arrest records for certain members of them, and certain incident reports involving the Dust Devils, but it doesn't seem like there's been any large convictions of any of their members.
I wonder why they still have protections if they're causing all this mayhem.
That was what I was wondering too. Seems like they have somebody with enough pull in the consortium. But it doesn't answer why they're here in Memorem. There was record of them having worked in the Civil War for different groups, but since the Civil War ended about a year ago and the new chief, or I guess I should say the new leader of the country, is being appointed, there haven't been really any reports about them being in the area. I would have figured they would have found some new areas to squander on top of, you know? Either way, they're at least outlined in the guild's files as a hostile group. So, she kind of looks over. That means that if we do encounter them, we have, well, all rights to engage with them. At least in the guild's eyes. Kaya kind of nods. They did. Which makes me, as Titus and you were saying, makes me think that them being hired, or whoever their benefactor is, has interest in this place. But why? We weren't able to... Oh, go ahead.
I wonder how their benefactor is able to keep them out of getting into larger trouble. They shouldn't be allowed to rerun like this.
No, they shouldn't. Avery kind of says that's why. Kind of mummers, that's why I was blasting them. He says, be that as it may, that's not the problem. It was the proximity. He kind of just looks, right.
That is understandable.
But they are an element in Lapsus that causes destabilization. We need to take care of them at some point. Maybe a Sheen would know more.
From what the mercenaries were saying, I believe that what they were trying to do is cause havoc. They didn't have a specific target that they needed to assassinate, for example. I believe they were just trying to cause discourse for some reason.
Brew kind of thinks, the good old-fashioned terrorist action, right? Seen that before.
What if there's like a specific reason, like maybe cause more mayhem so people gravitate or ask for help from a certain group of people?
He kind of looks, what, you think they wanted us to come here?
No, but maybe, like if
You mean this was a trap? Well, they would have some reinforcements then, no?
I don't necessarily think this was a trap, but what if their plan was to destabilize a certain areas so that they could get more political push on something else?
She Bari kind of thinks for a second, and she speaks up. Now, this area, Taro Toro, that's the name of the town you're in. I mentioned before, or at least when we were doing the briefing, that it's a settlement in development. It's been heavily invested in by the government of Memorem. I wonder if that could be the reason.
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised.
So it means whoever their benefactor is has an interest in this place not being fully set up.
Like maybe other investors would pull their money out of the settlement, so
Right, if
then
it was
a
attacked.
specific benefactor could get the settlement for a lower price and have complete control over it.
He nods. Latricia, can you do some digging? She's like, already on it. It's gonna take me a bit though. It's like, that's good, at least. We'll see what we can. She Vari kind of gives you like a very like knowable like a nod of approval, like good job type deal.
Thank you.
So I guess that means should we bring it up to Ishin? And then as she says that, you can see there is a person that is approaching. There is a man that looks to be he's not wrapped in like necessarily like royal or noble attire. It actually kind of looks a bit more like it's like gussied up worksman attire. Like it's like worker attire type thing, like a heavier like coat or jacket with some jeans type feel. Or not jeans, sorry, some like wrappings and such like that. And kind of a robe that's overfit over top of his shoulders. But it still looks a little bit nicer like than what you'd expect for an average worker to kind of be like wearing, I guess you could say. But still, kind of down to earthy type feel. Not the exquisite robes and delicate things that you see on Lenny Lapsian nobles. But anyway, he's kind of dark skinned. He has these very bright green eyes. Very very noticeable, like green emerald like eyes. They kind of have a glint to them. And he's got short, braided long hair that goes down about the middle way of his back. And they're next to him, or to his left and right, are two kind of very well-armed guards. You can see wearing like Memorem attire, or very Memorem kind of warriors attire. A little bit, definitely more like gussied up and more like pronounced than the regular soldiers you saw that had gotten killed by the Dust Devils outside. These guys look like a lot stronger and a lot more like built. Type deal.
So high-ranking Dust Devils, okay.
Yes, high-ranking Dust Devils. No, these aren't Dust Devils. They're Memorem people. Yes, or so you believe. Who knows? They could be in disguise. It all could be a ruse. No, joking. And as he approaches, you can see Kaya and Fari kind of nod to them, or nod to him, and he kind of like gives a deep kind of bow to your entire group. And he says, well met. You must be the Shadow Guardians I have heard most about.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Shadow Guardians TM.
Shadow Guardians TM. Kind of gives a nod. You don't think he knows that like that might be a joke or a pun. He's taking it at like surface value, you feel. Says, well, I'm thankful to have the guild's assistance here. We were, I will definitely say, dealing with quite an unfortunate predicament earlier today. If it had not been for your assistance, we would probably not be in the same situation as of now. So I thank you. And my people thank you as well.
So, good question with the communicators. Can we text each other like how you do with a phone, like
with transceiver devices?
Without other people seeing it.
So, I mean, they might see you pulling out your transceiver device to type to somebody, but you can try and hide it if you'd like. roll me a stealth if you want to do that. Okay. But as like you kind of are like looking, it's like, I apologize. I have not introduced myself. You may call me Ashin Ali. I am the current leader of Mamor. And he gives. Yes, Ashin Ali.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
I will copy and paste into Shadow Guardian's chat his name. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture yet. I'll get a picture soon. I don't have one now. Is Gwendolyn back, by the way? No, okay. I was wondering if Gwendolyn was back.
Introduces himself as the leader. I'll do the same deep bow he did.
I just saw that's a trap thing, sorry. You see the same bow he does? He gives, there's like a recognition of someone that is cultured, I see. And he kind of like looks. But yes, I just wanted to come in person to thank all of you. You did do a good service to Memorem and its people today, and that should be rewarded. Even if he kind of looks over at Fari and Kaya. Your group's nature and involvement is somewhat hidden, I'm aware. He kind of looks, as he looks over at them and his sight glances over past Brew, there's a slight pause, but he doesn't dwindle on it too long, and he just keeps going. But yeah, he kind of looks, there's like a look at Brew and Avery, but then he doesn't say say anything. He just kind of notices them and then just kind of continues. Anyway, I was hoping I could find more about the situation here, and possibly even inform you all of some things happening here. This is not the first time that these raiders have attacked us. It has been a recent occurrence, albeit a minimal one until today. We've been mostly able to deal with them, but armored knights is not something we were prepared to deal with. At least not initially. But I have requisitioned for more support and defenses, especially to repair the ones that were lost today. So. But is there anything else that that I should know about? I would like to assist in any way I can.
Can I share the information about the dust devils?
Yeah, you do. He kind of nods. The Dust Devils, so that is their name. We've been trying to do some digging, but normally they don't wear the symbols, or at least they block them. That raiding. Go on, sorry.
They've been hired.
Yes, I imagine that is the case, considering their previous history in Memorem. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we are familiar with their ilk, you could say.
Could you share more of the history with me?
He nods. Yes, they were previously a mercenary group, you could say. He kind of, when he says that, there's like a little bit of disgust in his voice when he says that. Because you could say they worked with several resistance and, we'll say, authoritarian groups during the Civil War. Mainly suppression of civilians and making sure that the certain people's regimes were kept intact as long as they could be, at least until the Civil War ended and agreements were signed. But it looks like they've been flying low for the last little bit, at least the last year or so. We hadn't heard much from them. In fact, we thought they had headed down south somewhere, maybe in Gobi or somewhere else to terrorize for a bit, but it seems like we're not rid of them just yet. But I'm
with the Taliban.
Hopefully we can learn more information about their motives.
Hopefully.
Help us control and safety.
It would be a blessing. Memorem has suffered much. He wants to say something else, but he kind of stops himself. Under our history, we'll just say. And those of our neighbors. But Memorem is looking for a new turn of leaf, a new page to, I guess you could say, to turn. This problem, the quicker it's dealt with, the quicker we can turn that page.
That makes sense. Hopefully we can get there as soon as possible.
Yes. Oh, I should also make you all aware. Memorem, well, we were planning on hosting a ceremony before the attack, and I believe we will still attempt to do so. It is one of Memorem's, well, you can say it's our winter ceremony. It's what we host when the coming of spring occurs. We do one for the fall, for the summer to the fall as well. It would be wonderful if you were to attend our spring tidings. Though, of course, I imagine it'd be after your time working, of course.
I would love to. That would be such a pleasure.
He kind of gives you a nod.
So love to.
Of course, it would be extended to all your members, everyone here. It would be our utmost thanks to have you all attend, considering things.
What symbolic reasoning does this celebration have?
Well, you could say it's relates to the changing of the page I mentioned. Memorem is very, we'll say, heavy on our culture in terms of turning over new leaves and beginning a new thing. I believe the Alta Latel have a similar understanding when it comes to their seasonal events. For us, it is more of an idea of shedding off the sins of the past to begin anew. I believe Lapsians also have a similar one, though it occurs in the winter a little bit towards the middle. But for us, it is symbolic of our progress, our growth, and in hope for a better tomorrow, or a better spring.
Right. I believe there should be heightened security during this.
Of course, especially after recent events, of course. Though, it would be hopeful that we could end the situation here before that happens, before the ceremony. I
Believe they received quite a bit of damage from this encounter, therefore they should be dormant, at least for a while.
Do you have any idea where they might be, potentially? If I had to make an assumption, not off of anything, substance really, a group like that would probably have some type of forward base. Something they've makeshiftly made.
Yes, I am workshopping a couple of theories. Outside of the game, what places did they still have the protection in again?
The protection for...
Just the Dust Devils had protection in.
Oh, they had it in the Consortium, like areas in the Consortium. Technically, the Memorem is not part of the Consortium. It's in Lapsus, like the region, but it's not part of the Consortium.
So, which is the closest?
Between like Memorem and well, you're in Memorem right now.
Yeah. Which is the closest to the current location?
Between the Memorem and the Consortium? Or between...
Dragon, I think you cut out.
Oh, did I cut out? Hello? Did you hear what I said? Okay, did you hear what I said about...
Between Memorem and the Consortium.
Yeah, because you're in Memorem right now.
So where they would be
Protected is in the Consortium.
away.
It's
Right.
not the furthest. You were in like the Consortium area when you took off, and you're now in Memorem. It's not like super far.
You cut out again, but
God.
I heard that last part.
Damn it. Can you hear me though now?
Yes.
Okay. What I was saying was you were in the Consortium area when you took off, and got to Memorem, but you're not super far from the Consortium. Is what I'm saying. You're near Delra, which I will actually on the map. Oh, you know what I haven't been doing? I haven't been showing the art. That's all right. We're gonna remove these because we don't need them right now. But yes, if we zoom on the map here, even though it doesn't have any places mentioned on it, and this map is slightly old and out of date. If you look where Seyun is,
I don't.
south,
Roll 20, right?
yes, in roll 20. If you look in the south, Oh,
Not on that page.
I didn't actually move you all. I moved myself. Teehee. Alright, let me fix that. Alright, now are you there?
The stratosphere looks great.
Yes. Maybe in the future we can get a colored stratosphere.
Pink and green. I mean, the purple and green.
Purple and green, yeah. But yes, if you look where Seiyun is, you guys were like... You guys are probably like south of where Seiyun is. Not too far, maybe like 2-ish hexes away.
And one hex is how long?
One hex, so this is not as accurate as it normally would be. These hexes are actually a little bit bigger than normal, but I would guesstimate that each of these hexes is roughly 20-ish miles.
Oh, okay, that's not far at all.
Yeah, it's not the furthest, but it like normally the hexes are about 8 to 10 miles. But yeah, this is zoomed. This is a lot more zoomed in map just to show more of it. So, but yeah, you guys could get to Delra within a day. I mean, definitely with the with the ship you have, you could get to Delra within a day. Like go back and forth between Delra and Memorem. But you are still technically in Memorem at the moment.
Right, so to Ali, I say, I believe they are hiding out in the Consortium currently.
He kind of thinks, the Consortium, why would they be doing that? I wonder. Could it be...
I believe they have protection there.
When you say that, he kind of... There is a notable, like, sigh of anger, and he just kind of... You can see there is still such difficulties in the Consortium, even with the new council. Unfortunate. Our jurisdiction is, you'll understand, a bit difficult there.
Right, well, this is all still theory.
Fari kind of looks over, but the guild unions is not. If they are in the area, and we can link them to the attackers that just attacked this place, the guild union will have enough authorization to deal with the problem.
This whole thing was recorded, right?
I believe parts of it were, yes. Though they didn't, I think, no, I think somebody, okay, well, never mind, they're dead, fuck. There was some names were said, but the person that's name was said is dead. That was the person in the map. Their name was Helga, and they got blown away by you, Casket. But yes, there was a name. The Dust Devils, technically, the symbol would have been recorded, but maybe not the name. But like again, you could probably connect the dots.
I mean, if there's a symbol, the name.
Right. Innocent. He kind of thinks. Then
Fished out the symbol from Helga.
from the cockpit. The blown. I'm pretty sure you blew a hole through that cockpit. I don't think there's pieces of Helga left. All right. So he kind of thinks. Then shall we leave it to you then?
Who does that? Who does?
Uh,
Ellie say that to?
He's saying that to all of you, like kind of to Fari, but also to all of you, because Fari basically said, yeah, as long as we have evidence that the people that attacked are there, the guild has enough like authorization to probably act.
That's good nods.
Then we will stay out of your way, and we will trust the guild to take care of this matter for us. I wish we could do more, but you'll have to understand, things in Lapsus, not just the Consortium, but Memorem as well, are on a thin rope. We must tread very carefully in these next coming months and years. if we are to hope to avoid any past failures. I'm sure that a woman of your stature would understand. Kind of looks at Fari when he says that. She kind of nods. Yes, don't worry. We will take care of it. Well, if there's anything else that you would require from me, you may find me in the town center's central area. At least most of the time, unless I am, of course, out at the time. He'll nod, and then he will, unless someone says anything, he will leave.
Yeah, so after he leaves and before we all kind of split up or anything else, I would like to raise a point.
Mm-hmm.
I look over to Kaya.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have artists here?
Artist. We could probably find someone in the town. Why would you be asking?
The mechs, they need to have shadow guardians on it. TM.
She just kind of looks at you. Actually, Brew kind of think when you say that, he's like, he just has his hand on his head, like, Wait, that does raise a good point. These Dust Devil guys, they know who we are?
Maybe.
What is maybe? He looks at you a bit with an eyebrow raise.
I might have mentioned the shadow guardians once or twice.
You mentioned the Shadow Guardians. Alright. I mean, our group isn't really recognized in the Guild Union at the moment, so that's not too bad. So do they know we're part of the Guild Union?
No, that part I didn't say.
Huh. Interesting. You can see he's just thinking about something, but he isn't saying much. He just is interesting. He kind of recedes back in the conversation. I kind of looks over.
Back me up.
Hmm?
I said say you and back me up.
Well, you see, we gotta work on giving out. What do we give out business cards in this line of work?
Kaya kind of says, considering our group is supposed to be secret, I don't think we should be really doing that.
No, you drive a fair point, but you know it's kind of cool, you know. Shadow Guardians, damn.
Exactly.
You know,
every group needs recognition.
Fire kind of says, some work is not meant to be recognized. Remember that.
we work in the shadows for those who walk in the light, or something like that. I don't know.
Yes. Okay, Latricia kind of says, yes, it's not an uncommon motto.
We fight the shadows to protect the shadows.
Something like that.
Rue just kind of chuckles when you say that. Doesn't say anything else. Guess kind of looks over. Well, I believe we should work on finding this base that they might be held up at, if there is one. No doubt they retreated somewhere. We should make sure that we can find where that somewhere is. And looks over. How is everybody currently doing in terms of, well, the current status?
Pretty good.
I'm alright.
Oh, we cut out a Bonnie.
Oh, I was saying pretty good. Do we have the proper jurisdiction at this moment to go there and try to find the Dust Devils?
Fari kind of says that we have confirmation that the group attacked us, and we are following their current direction and trajectory. Of course, we still have to tread on the normal rules of engagement. However, if we are to get attacked, or we are to recognize that they are the group that attacked the town, the guild has all authority to undergo an operation or an armed intervention.
Okay.
She just nods. Alright, we need to, Brew kinda says, we probably should be careful, in terms of who we bring. Avery Crow kinda looks over. That wasn't a jab, Crow, calm down. I meant more like we have people here should probably still monitor and keep safe and such, you know. Remember what Ishin said, they don't have as many guards and such after that attack. Some of us staying behind might not be a bad idea, that's all I'm suggesting. That's thanks. Titus kind of holds up a hand. Says, I'm good to go or I'm good to stay.
I believe splitting up forces would be quite detrimental.
He kind of nods. That's true, but remember, we still have people here to keep safe. We can always wait to go after them until after support arrives, as Ashin said, but we don't know when that'll be yet.
Well, we are not in a hurry to go after them, because we do not have any leads to where we should go.
Oh, then we'd have to start looking. That's what I'm suggesting.
I would like to.
Not... Yes, continue.
I want to find out who's behind all of this.
Bray's kind of like, as would I.
Would that not be a crazy duck chase?
Yeah, so there's what duck now? What's over you?
Might be a goose. Not sure.
He's like, I'm not sure the expression you're trying to say.
There is some sort of insane bird.
Like a feator or something? Or a dire cockatoo? Or an ostrich?
Or an emu? I heard those are dangerous.
Yeah, they are. You ever got kicked by one of them? That was a weird thing to bring up, but anyway. But still, I'm with my vote's with the Pawnee. I think we need to get a handle on the situation sooner rather than later. We're still doing fine ourselves, at least most of us in the group. They still have to lick their wounds after getting a pretty mighty defeat, it sounds like. I personally elect that we should go after them.
I second that.
Yeah, looks over. Sounds like we got some that want to stay and go, Casket.
If we decide to go after them, which I am not against, as my previous actions have dictated.
Yeah, he was about to say.
I am not against it. I believe that splitting up here and leaving some forces behind, which is also very necessary, will...
Undoubtedly to weaken our force overall, that's true. At least the one going after them. We can always, once we find the location, send signal out for us to come and support.
Yes, but we will be going into the wolf's den with not particularly all forces. This will be dangerous.
Could we potentially send away maybe 2 people that may or may not be sleeping or taking a nap right now during this conversation?
You are saying we should send away 2 people into the wolf's den?
No.
No, she's recommended that we keep 2 people. Yeah.
2 people that may or may not be potentially sleeping or napping in a different part of the ship right now.
Yeah, it says, yeah. I'm sure that Kaya or Fari will wake him up.
Right. Well, I guess we're splitting up then.
And guy says, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Oh, well, that is a good question. He kind of looks over. Hey, Fari, what's the ruling on our stuff? You know, our armored knights. What are we, mechanized infantry? What are we allowed to go with? Things. Casket raises a good point. If we are to split up our forces, it would be definitely better if we had some armored knights with us. It does make you being spotted easier. Though, it does mean that you'll be more protected.
We'll be spotted later or sooner.
She nods. 2 armored knights. Not the ones you took. Those will need repairs. The ones you took originally. Well, she kinda looks over. That means you'll have access to the either 2 prisms or 2 what is it called? I'm sorry, savior souls. Ooh, kinda says, you know me, I'll take my prism.
So I've been thinking about this, and I think I would like to receive the neuro length.
When you say that, there's like a look of like, what? Remember everybody? From the Latricia, Kaya, and Ari just kind of looking like, huh? No, like, just they're surprised that you were like, yeah, I'll do the Neuralink thing.
What could go wrong, right?
Cass, she probably kind of looks over. Don't say that. You and a pony do have a high enough affinity. Not now. If we do this, we don't even have the stuff to do the procedure yet.
I see.
Don't think just because you're not an organic creature being cut into that it won't have any tangible effects. You'll need some time to rest. Unless, of course, you'd like us to stick you with stems so that you're barely hanging on afterwards.
Stems? Or on me?
Yes, they will.
What sort of stems do you have?
We'll just say that they're... Kaya kind of looks up, but we'll just say that they can affect more than just organs. Like, organic organs, I mean. They can affect some of your internal workings.
Organic organs aren't internal?
I mean, not in that way. Like, your internal workings, like your internal... Like your processors and also your machine core. Or, well... Yeah, your core.
I see, you will be overclocking me.
Well, the hope is that doesn't happen too much. Of course, that's why we want to make sure that we do this procedure with, well, under supervision, and also with the right tools. So, not right now, but... Fari kind of looks over at Kaya, kind of thinks. There is technically 2 people that could pilot it. Or, sorry, there's technically 3 people that could pilot it. No, we'll leave it for now, she kind of thinks.
Yes, the special mech.
If the situation arises, we'll use it, but otherwise, it's staying in the ship for now.
Ah, yes, the special one.
Yes, the Vanguard.
The extra special.
Indeed. So yes, Kaya will say, well, I'll go ahead and get started repairing the vigilance units. It shouldn't take me too long. Sorry, can you keep things directed around? She kind of nods. I will. Alright, Avery, you're gonna be helping me as well. He's like, oh, man. Sure. She kind of looks over. I'm not mad at you, right? I know things can get personal for you, Kim. He just kind of nods and they go into the ship.
I mistake this for talking to Casket and say thank you.
Rue kind of says, alright, I'll go get my gear on and get in my prism unit. Alright, so that means it's gonna be me, you, he looks over at you, Pawnee. Casket. Sayun, you're up still. You don't look like you've gotten too much damage.
I am A-OK in all departments, I believe. Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah, close enough. Looks over. Oh, sorry, Pawnee. We're gonna say something. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just excited.
Is it that a girl? Alright, and then... Gwendolyn, you haven't seen much action. Let's get you up here. And he'll, motion for you to join them. Should be a good enough team. Titus, keep the fort down. Titus just kind of nods. Says, don't worry, Vari will radio in if something happens. Won't start too many fireworks unless we have to. She just nods. Alright. I will say we can stop here if we'd like, or we can continue. I know Casket has to go soon.
Yeah.
Might
If
be
someone has to go, then we should probably pause.
Yeah, so I was saying, I don't mind stopping here because basically the next part would be you guys finding signs to find the oh my god, the FOB. We're gonna go with FOB, forward operating base. Yep.
This is a good place to stop.
Yep.
Review.
Coolio, because then we can do finding the base and then dealing with it maybe next session.
Hell yeah.
All right. We'll see you in the next episode or part.